Let me tell you about a woman named Gloria and the one button that stood between her and $180 she was about to hand a repair shop for absolutely nothing. Gloria's in her 60s, drives her grandkids all over town, and one brutal July afternoon, her AC just wouldn't get cold. Warm, stuffy, kids whining in the back seat. She'd already made the appointment. Sounds like it needs a recharge, ma'am, about 180, and she was one day away from paying it. Then I sat in her car, looked at her dashboard for about 2 seconds, and pressed one single button, one. And within a minute, that air was so cold, she reached over and turned it down. Nothing was wrong with her AC. Nothing. She'd just been pressing it wrong for years, like almost everybody does. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know the exact button she was missing, and you're never gonna overpay for warm AC again. Because here's the truth, nobody ever bothered to teach you. There is one button on your dashboard, you've seen it 1,000 times, you've probably never touched it on purpose, that controls whether your air conditioning blows ice cold or barely cool. And the wild part is that most people have it set exactly backwards on the hottest days of the year. They're making their AC work twice as hard for half the cold, and they have no idea. So today I'm going to show you what that button really does, the right way to use it to get your car cold in a fraction of the time. And stick with me for this one. The exact moment when using it wrong can actually fog up your windshield and get dangerous. That last part is where most videos lie to you, so don't skip it. Let me show you the button first, because you need to picture it. Look at your climate controls and hunt for a little symbol of a car, just the outline of a car with an arrow curving around inside it, like the air is looping around in a circle. That's it. That's your recirculation button. Now, right next to that idea, some cars have a second symbol, the same car outline, but with an arrow pointing straight in from the outside. That one's fresh air mode. So your car has two ways it can get the air it cools. It can pull in fresh air from outside, or it can recirculate the air that's already inside the cabin, looping it around again and again. One button, two completely different jobs, and which one you're on decides everything about how cold you get. So let me explain why this matters so much, because once it clicks, you'll never forget it. Think about what your AC is actually doing. It takes air and it chills it. That's the whole job. Now imagine it's 100 degrees outside on a blazing summer day. If your car is set to fresh air mode, your AC is reaching outside, grabbing that 100-degree furnace air and trying to cool it down from scratch, over and over. Every second you drive, it's pulling in brand new, blistering hot outside air and fighting to chill it. That's like trying to cool a room with the front door wide open. The AC never gets ahead. It just runs and runs, straining, and the best it can do is take the edge off, but flip to recirculation, and everything changes. Now your AC isn't reaching outside for fresh oven air anymore. It's grabbing the air that's already inside your cabin air. It just cooled a moment ago and chilling it again and again, each pass getting colder and colder. It's not starting from 100 degrees every time. It's starting from the cool air it already made. So it stacks the cold. That's how you get that deep, ice cold meat locker chill instead of just, it's kind of cooling. Same AC, same car, one button. That was Gloria's entire problem. She was on fresh air in July, making her poor AC fight the whole outdoors, and one press flipped it to recirculate, and the cold came pouring out. $180 saved by a symbol she'd never noticed. Now, here's how you put this to work the right way, because there's a smart order to it that gets you cold the fastest. Say you've just walked out to your car and it's been baking in a parking lot, the inside's an oven, that thick, suffocating heat. Don't jump straight to recirculate yet, because right now the air inside is actually hotter than the air outside, and you don't want to just loop that furnace air around. So first, for the first 30 seconds to a minute, as you start driving, crack your windows and let all that trapped oven heat blow out, push it out. Then, once the inside air is roughly down to outside temperature, roll the windows up, switch on your AC, and hit that recirculation button. Now you've handed your system the easiest possible job, and it'll take that already okay air and drive it down to bone cold in a fraction of the time it used to take. Vent the oven, then recirculate. That's the whole move, and it works on every car with that button, which is basically all of them. And here's a bonus you get for free with this, something Gloria never even realized she was buying. You're being kind to that expensive compressor. Remember, on fresh air in the heat, your AC is straining full blast against 100-degree air nonstop. On recirculate, it's working far less hard to hold the cold, because it's not fighting the outdoors anymore. Less strain, less heat, less wear on the single most expensive part of your whole AC system. So you're not just getting colder, you're actually making your AC last longer while you do it. And there's even a little gas saving in there, because an AC that isn't straining pulls a little less power from your engine. Colder air longer lasting AC, slightly better mileage, all from one button nobody told you about. That's the kind of thing that should be printed in every owner's manual in bold, and instead it's a mystery symbol most people press by accident once and never again. Real quick, everything I teach is in one guide. Don't get fleeced. Links in the description and pinned comment if you want it. Now, back to it, because I promised you the part where this button can turn against you. And this is the part that separates the honest advice from the hype. Here's the catch, and I'm telling you this because nobody else will. Recirculation is fantastic for getting cold and staying cold, but you cannot just leave it on forever. And here's why. When you're on recirculate, you've basically sealed the cabin. That same air is looping around and around, and it's not just getting colder, it's getting more humid because you and your passengers are breathing into it, and that moisture has nowhere to go. Leave it sealed up like that too long, especially with a few people in the car, and two things start to happen. First, that trapped humidity can start to fog up your windows, and fogged up glass on a busy road is genuinely dangerous. Second, the air just gets stale and stuffy because you're breathing the same sealed air over and over instead of getting any fresh oxygen in. So here's the honest rule, the one that keeps you safe and still gets you all that cold. Use recirculate to get cold fast and to hold that deep chill on a brutally hot day. But every so often, every 10, 15 minutes, or the second you notice the window starting to mist or the air getting stuffy, flip it back to fresh air for a few minutes to let the cabin breathe and clear out that moisture. Then, if it's still scorching, go back to recirculate. You're basically letting the car take a breath now and then. And there are two situations where you should not be on recirculate at all. Anytime you're using your defroster to clear a foggy or icy windshield, and pretty much anytime it's cold and damp out. In those moments, you want fresh, dry outside air coming in to pull the moisture off your glass. Recirculate would just trap the wet air and make the fog worse. Cold and foggy weather, fresh air. Blazing hot summer, recirculate with a breath of fresh air now and then, get that rule down, and you've got the whole thing mastered. Let me give you one more practical win with this button while I've got you, because this one saved me from some truly awful moments on the road. That recirculation button is also your best friend for keeping bad smells out of your car. You know the feeling you're driving behind a garbage truck belching black smoke, or you pass a skunk that met a bad end on the shoulder, or you're crawling through a tunnel thick with exhaust. What do? Hit recirculate instantly, because on fresh air, your car is happily sucking all of that straight into the cabin and right up your nose. But the moment you punch recirculate, you seal the cabin off and stop pulling that nasty outside air in. You just ride it out in your own clean sealed air until you're past it, then flip back to fresh. It's the difference between gagging for a mile and not smelling a thing. One button. Try it the next time you're stuck behind a diesel and you'll never forget it. Now let me tie the whole thing together, because it's genuinely simple once you see the full picture, and I want it to stick with you for good. That little button with the car and the looping arrow recirculation is one of the most useful and most ignored controls on your entire dashboard. On a hot day, vent out the oven air first with your windows, then switch to recirculate, and your AC will get you ice cold in a fraction of the time while working far less hard. Give the cabin a breath of fresh air every so often so the windows don't fog and the air doesn't go stale. Switch to fresh air whenever it's cold and damp or you're running the defroster. And punch recirculate anytime you need to seal out a bad smell or heavy exhaust. That's it. That's the entire skill, and now it's yours. And here's what I really want you to walk away thinking about, because it's bigger than one button. Gloria was about to pay a shop $180 to fix an air conditioning system that was working perfectly the entire time. There was never anything wrong with it. There was just one button she'd never been taught to use, and that little gap in knowledge was about to cost her real money. Money she works hard for. Money meant for her grandkids. And that's the thing that gets me. That's why I make these. It's almost never that your car is broken and expensive. It's that nobody ever sat you down and showed you the simple stuff, the buttons, the tricks, the 2-second fixes, so you end up feeling helpless, and feeling helpless is exactly what gets people talked into repairs they never needed. The moment you understand your own car, even a little, that helplessness disappears. And so, does anybody's chance of selling you a $180 recharge you were one button away from never needing? That's what I gave Gloria in her driveway that afternoon. Not a repair. Just the truth about her own car, and that's exactly what I want to keep giving you. Everything else like this, every button, every cheap trick, every wait, is this a ripoff? Answer for your whole car is sitting in that guide down in the description and the pinned comment if you want it all in one place in your pocket. Now, do me a favor before you go. Hit that like button. If this just showed you something on your own dashboard you never knew was there, it genuinely helps this reach the next person sweating in a hot car, about to pay for a recharge they don't need, you could be the reason they keep that money. And tell me 2 things down in the comments. First, be honest. Did you already know what that recirculation button did? Or have you been driving around on fresh air in the heat this whole time like Gloria? I read every single one. And second, what do you want next? Should I show you the 3 AC buttons that get you cold even faster? Or how to fix that musty smell that hits you the second you turn the AC on? You pick it, I'll build it. And subscribe, because I've got a whole garage full of these coming, the cheap fixes, the honest tricks, and the truth the dealership would honestly rather you never learned. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.